my dear learners, for this course on design of machine elements 1. In our module 2, we were discussing about design for impact strength and design for fatigue strength. In our previous lecture, I have introduced people to the concept of design for fatigue strength. So after discussing the important preliminary aspects of design for fatigue strength, in today's lecture we are heading to solve problems on design for fatigue strength. Let me take up the case number 1 of design for fatigue strength, in which we should discuss axially fatigue loaded machine members. The problem number 1 of our discussion states that a piston rod is subjected to a maximum reverse axial load of 110 kilonewtons. It is made of steel having an ultimate stress of 900 megapascals and surface is machined. The average endurance limit is 50% of the ultimate strength. Take the size correction coefficient as 0.85 and factor of safety as 1.75. Determine the diameter of rod. We are solving problem on circular cross section specimen. And very important point to be noted on is it is subject for reversed loading, which means that the magnitude in both forward and reverse direction will remain same. Therefore, for this case, we should take it as 110 kilonewton tensile and 110 kilonewton compression. So therefore, let me list out the data and solve this problem. If I list out the data given, we have a piston rod subject for axial load. So therefore, it is axial fatigue loading case. Since we have a reversed axial load of 110 kilonewton, the load varies from F max of plus 110 into 10 to the power of 3 newtons to F minimum of minus 110 into 10 to the power of 3 newtons. It is made of steel having an ultimate stress. It is given as the ultimate stress. Sigma ultimate is 900 megapascals and surface is machined. Average endurance limit sigma suffix minus 1 is 0.5 times the ultimate stress. Take size correction factor. So size correction factor is capital B is 0.85. He has not given A and C value. Factor of safety is 1.75. Small n is given 1.75. Determine the diameter of rod. I should find diameter. Let me solve this problem. So if I take, since we are solving for a circular specimen, I said for axial loading case stress formula is 4F by pi d square. So if I substitute maximum stress, if I substitute maximum load, I'll get maximum stress. So therefore, sigma max will be 4 times F max is 110 into 10 to the power of 3 divided by pi times d square. So therefore, sigma max in terms of d will be 4 into 110 exponential 3 divided by pi. Or else I'll keep it in terms of pi d square so that I won't get any errors. 110 exponential 3. So to avoid round of errors, I'll keep unknown as pi d square. So I'll get 44 into 10 to the power of 4 divided by pi d square. Similarly, if I solve for sigma minimum, the load is negative, so therefore I will get the value as minus 44 into 10 to the power of 4 by pi d square. Find the value of amplitude and mean stress. We know that mean stress is given by sigma mean is equal to sigma max plus sigma minimum by 2. So since both are same in magnitude and we have negative sign, sigma mean will become 0. To find sigma amplitude is equal to sigma max minus sigma minimum by 2. So if you observe, the magnitude are same, we have negative sign, minus of minus will become plus. So it will become 2 times and we are dividing it by 2. So therefore 2 and 2 will get cancelled and the value remains same, that is 44 into 10 to the power of 4 by 5d square. So it will get added. So 2 and 2 will get cancelled and left out with the same magnitude, 44 into 10 to the power of 4 divided by 5d square. So thereby we have calculated sigma max, sigma minimum, sigma mean and sigma amplitude. So now the question is whether I should use Soderberg criterion for design or Goodman's criterion for design. Since he has not specified the yield strength, let us go for Goodman's because we know the ultimate stress. Ultimate stress is 900 megapascals because Goodman's criterion is based on ultimate strength, whereas Soderberg criterion is based on yield strength. Since yield strength is not known to us, better to go for Goodman's because we know ultimate stress. So let me go for Goodman's because we know ultimate stress from Goodman's criterion 25, equation 2.21a. Equation 2.21a, we have from our design data handbook fatigue stress concentration factor KTF into sigma amplitude divided by ABC factors into endurance stress plus sigma mean by sigma ultimate is equal to 1 by factor of safety. Now he has not specified any material discontinuity or any presence of stress concentration, so therefore I can take the stress concentration factor as unity. From the data handbook itself, we know the formula for fatigue stress concentration factor. Now KTF is equal to 1 plus Notch sensitivity into stress concentration factor minus 1. Since there is no material discontinuity specified for this problem, I can take KT as 1. No stress concentration specified, therefore the value of stress concentration factor is 1. Substitute stress concentration factor to this equation, I will get KTF as 1. Nothing to worry about Notch sensitivity because 0 and anything will become 0, and also Notch sensitivity is also not specified. If Notch sensitivity is also not specified, take Notch sensitivity as unity 1. No stress concentration factor specified, KT is 1 and Notch sensitivity Q is also 1 because not specified, no information about Notch sensitivity. Now coming for sigma amplitude, we have calculated A is the load correction factor from page number 25 of our design data handbook. The load correction factor A for axial loading can be taken as 0.7. So let's take the least value and design. The load correction factor is unity for reversed bending, 0.7 for axial loading, whereas for torsional load it varies from 0.5 to 0.6. Now coming for B, he has given the B factor as 0.85, that is surface correction factor, nothing to worry. Coming for C, C is surface correction factor, size factor is 0.85, so surface correction factor from table 2.2 of page number 32 of our design data handbook. For ultimate stress is equal to 900, you can adopt C as 0.8. This is because of the reason, if you refer table 2.2, he has given for ultimate stress of 820, C has given as 0.82. For ultimate stress of 1020, he has given C as 0.78. So since 900 is between 800 and 1000, I can take the average as 0.8. Next, moving for L, he has given 1.75. So all the values are known to us. So if I substitute to Goodman's equation, we have KTF, that is fatigue stress concentration factor, as unity, into sigma A, that is amplitude stress, is 44 into 10 to the power of 4 divided by pi d square. The value of A, that is load correction factor, is 0.7. Value of B, size correction factor, is given 0.85. Value of C is 0.8. Again, into sigma endurance is 0.5 times ultimate is 900, plus sigma mean is 0 divided by ultimate is 900, which is equal to 1 by factor of safety is 1.75. So 0 by anything is 0. So therefore if I solve it, I'll get the diameter as 0.7 into 0.85 into 0.8 to 0.5 into 900. It gives us the value as 214.2. So it is 44 into 10 to the power of 4 divided by 214.2 into pi into d square is equal to 1 by 1.75. So if I solve this, I'll get the value as, it is solving, taking its time. Meanwhile, I not given the equation number, so this is from equation 2.5, referring to page 21. Very important, make a note of it. Equation 2.5, page 21. So answer came, the value of diameter is 33.82. So D is equal to 33.82 millimeters. So add up 35. So the answer for the problem is diameter is 35 millimeters. So from the definition of stress concentration factor, we know that stress concentration factor is maximum stress by nominal stress. So therefore, if there is no stress concentration specified, then we can take the value as unity. So therefore, I am taking the value as unity, that is nominal stress is equal to the maximum stress, and Notch sensitivity Q is taken as unity because it has not specified any Notch sensitivity for us. So always make a note, the difficulties what student always face is that to find the value of A and B. The value of A is 1 for reverse bending, 0.7 for axial loading, and take 0.6 for torsional loading from page number 25, which is specified after equation 2.21e. And coming for C, take the value from table 2.2, refer page number 32. So this is the complete solution for the given problem. This completes the case 1 type of problems, that is problems on axial fatigue loading case. In next lecture, I will take up problem on fatigue loading due to pure bending. That's all from this lecture. Thank you all.